episode will be beneficial because there's a blood sugar management in sports is hard, difficult, and unique to each sport.
Hmm.
Wrestling as a sport is completely unique. Cutting weight, the idea of cutting weight, being dehydrated, being a high school athlete, or maybe you're a college athlete or junior high. I think it's very difficult to balance that type of sport at those age groups and being diabetic.
Hmm.
And that's something that both you and I actually share in common. So,
Yeah, you got, especially at that age, you got all these hormones flying around that makes it
mhm,
hard anyways, and then you throw something like wrestling that's very extreme in many different ways
mhm.
and becomes really hard to control your blood sugar.
Well, I was actually a late bloomer, so I'm not sure about for me if those hormones are flat around or not. But so I almost want to open up with this in that it's really easy to be a diabetic and try to hack your way through things,
Yeah,
you know. And so what I used to do, which I don't recommend anyone to do, I'm
please
sharing this
don't.
as a failure of myself and anyone else to maybe catch me doing this. But to cut weight, what I would do, which I wasn't, my parents weren't super big about me cutting weight anyways. They didn't want me cutting a whole lot of weight like some wrestlers in high school do.
Yep.
And so, but I still eventually, especially my junior senior year when I kind of thickened out a little bit, I got closer to my weight class. And so to cut weight, I would purposefully almost put myself through diabetic ketoacidosis. All my friends and teammates would be eating cheeseburgers and eating, they would be wanting to eat cheeseburgers and wanting to be eat pizza. And I would say, I can do that. And I would eat the cheeseburgers and I would eat the pizza. And then I would just take my pump off and I would just say, see ya, insulin. And I
Oh,
wouldn't,
geez.
I know. Looking back, it's like it's cringeworthy to say out loud. But
But if you think about it, it's really the perfect system because it makes your blood sugar high, but it also makes you pee out this whole thing. So it's like it's just built in to make you lose weight. So it's
it's,
great.
well, that's what my thought was when I was going through it all. I think I literally could lose 9 pounds in a day
Holy cow.
without like the crazy gym bat or trash bags over me with
Yeah.
10 layers of sweats and like
Without the
running.
misery and all the plus side because you're eating all these great foods.
That's right. Exactly. We got to eat the ice cream and then I got to gloat that I could eat where everyone else like barely had a chicken breast, for lunch. So um so I would do stupid and crazy stuff like that. And it would definitely, I didn't realize it would affect me because it was just part of living with diabetes. It was part of, oh, blood sugar is high, let me correct it. Oh, blood sugar is low. I wasn't thinking about how the flow of my blood sugar affects my overall body, affects my performance.
Yeah.
But it's such a crazy thing to do just hearing about it, and it makes me want to rip my eyes out.
Yep. Yeah. Cause I mean, as a teenager, as a kid, or as a college athlete, even you're not necessarily focused on like your performance. Like you are, but you aren't. Like you're focused on the end result, but at the same time, you're not necessarily focusing on how you're feeling and how you're functioning. And so when you really start looking at it, or you start having other people look at it for you, like with my parents, um, they would notice that when my blood sugar was really good, man, I wrestled at a pretty high level. When my blood sugar was really high, it was like a whole different person. My dad's like, it literally looks like you're out there in cement, like you're just in slow motion. And because I mean, I wrestled these guys that literally I had pinned the week before,
Mm-hmm.
and then this week I lost to them, and I'm like, how is this even possible? Like, sometimes that happens because you catch somebody and they really
Right.
are decently good, but you just
Yeah.
caught them.
Right.
But then it wasn't that way. Like I dominated the whole match, pinned them, and like this kid is just not good. And then the next week he comes in and beats me, and it's like a close, quote unquote good match. And so after that match, I'm like, this is like what happened? Like I'm so
Mm-hmm.
frustrated. And then my dad would tell me, you just look like you're in slow motion. So then we check my blood sugar and it's like, well above 200. And we're like, oh, So we started noticing that trend, and so getting back to my point, it's like you're not necessarily focused on how you feel, you're focused on the end result. So like in your case, it's like all I care about is making weight so I can wrestle, and
Hmm.
I want to make weight in the most comfortable way, which is being able to eat whatever I want
Right.
and still making weight. And so you're all your focus is on that and not necessarily on how you're feeling and how you're functioning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, just what am I trying to get to?